The Rock hits back at a report by Dave Meltzer suggesting that WWE and TKO want him to tone down his language on WWE television. Jack Perry disputes a report that he apologized to Tony Khan over the CM Punk incident at AEW All In last year, and also claims that AEW has denied his request to be released from his AEW contract. Jey Uso, Cody Rhodes, and Seth Rollins unite to face off against the Bloodline last night on SmackDown. Roman Reigns takes a shot at CM Punk in an interview with Pat McAfee on the Pat McAfee Show. Jade Cargill, she has officially signed with SmackDown. She'll be making her first appearance on the SmackDown roster next week on the Blue brand. An update on Chris Sabin and Alex Shelley, with their contracts reportedly set to expire with TNA Wrestling next month. Could they be on their way out of TNA Wrestling? Ronda Rousey, according to Dave Meltzer, despised Vince McMahon during her WWE career. LA Knight is arrested last night on SmackDown for attacking AJ Styles at his home, and Dominic Mysterio reignites his feud with his father Rey Mysterio, costing him his match against Santos Escobar. Hey guys, welcome back to Wrest News 365. Hope everyone is doing very well. As always, there are plenty of news stories to get into in the world of professional wrestling. Let's start off talking about The Rock hitting back at Dave Meltzer over a report recently in the Wrestling Observer newsletter. Now, if you recall, there's been quite a few stories going around over the last 7 days or so when it comes to The Rock's language on WWE television, with some reports suggesting that WWE superstars feel there's a double standard when it comes to The Rock and the language he's allowed to use not only on television but also on social media. He's been posting several promos on social media using profane language during them, and some have suggested it is a double standard, as recently there was a memo sent out to WWE superstars reminding them that as TKO Group Holdings, the parent company of WWE, is a publicly traded company, they should refrain from using profane language on social media and on television as they are rated TV PG. Now, a report from the Wrestling Observer newsletter this week suggested that TKO would like The Rock to follow and set a good example as a member of the board of directors, its guidelines of a TV PG product. However, many feel the double standards of the Vince McMahon era are back. Now, this was written by Dave Meltzer, and The Rock has responded on social media today, disputing this pretty abruptly. He posted the following, you can see it right there on the screen, saying, "This story is complete horseshit." So, what do you think of The Rock's response? What do you think of the story? What do you think of Dave Meltzer? Let me know your thoughts, as always, in the comment section below. Now, speaking of Dave Meltzer, there was a report going around this week when it came to Jack Perry. Now, it's kind of come in stages, this one. First, it was reported that Tony Khan is still really mad at Jack Perry for the backstage incident involving Perry and CM Punk at AEW All In at Wembley Stadium last year here in the UK. That eventually resulted in CM Punk's firing from AEW and his eventual return to WWE. Then it was later reported that Jack Perry, after the incident, had tried to contact Tony Khan several times, was very apologetic for his role in the incident, saying he didn't wish to hurt the company. It was also reported that he and Tony Khan hadn't spoke for a while. He only heard through company lawyers from Tony Khan, and eventually they did have a sit down and now facilitated this storyline that we can see in New Japan Pro Wrestling, and it was all to build up to Perry's eventual return to AEW. Well, things have changed even more, because according to Brian Alvarez of F4W Online, of course, interestingly enough, Dave Meltzer's partner when it comes to the Wrestling Observer and F4W Online, Jack Perry has disputed both claims that he continually apologized or asked for forgiveness in the months following his backstage fight with CM Punk at last August's AEW All In, or that there are any current plans for an AEW return. Now, according to Alvarez, he says that according to Jack Perry, he didn't hear from AEW head Tony Khan for 2 months following All In at London's Wembley Stadium. Perry said he never texted to say he was sorry and told Khan's lawyers that he would not initiate first contact. Khan finally set up an in-person meeting before Full Gear in Los Angeles last year, where they discussed plans to bring him back last December. But interestingly enough, however, after CM Punk returned to WWE at Survivor Series in November, those plans to bring Jack Perry back to AEW television, reportedly, according to Perry, were scrapped. Now, Perry, who had wanted to work Wrestle Kingdom for New Japan Pro Wrestling, but was unable to for logistical reasons, then worked with Rocky Romero and Tony Khan to set up his current run with New Japan Pro Wrestling. Now, this is very interesting as well. At this point, Jack Perry is still under contract with All Elite Wrestling, and it also says he asked for his release, but it was denied. But there are still no plans to bring him back to AEW. He also says he hasn't talked to Khan in months, nor cleared anything he has done in storyline for New Japan, like him tearing up his AEW contract or his use of the term scapegoat. So what do you think when it comes to the latest development in this Jack Perry saga? Do you believe the first part of it, that Tony Khan is still really mad at him? Do you believe the second part of it, that Jack Perry had asked for forgiveness and tried to text Tony Khan several times, and all of this was a big storyline that he would eventually return to AEW? Or do you believe Jack Perry when he's saying, no, I haven't spoken to Khan, or I didn't definitely ask to apologize, I asked for my release, it was denied? Do you think this is a case of Jack Perry trying to steer the storyline back on tracks after Dave Meltzer's reporting? Let me know your thoughts, as always, in the comment section below about that. Now let's talk about SmackDown last night, as we saw Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes face off ahead of their match at WrestleMania 40 for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship. Now, undisputed WWE Universal Champion Roman Reigns was quick to point out that Cody Rhodes was indeed a man of his word, showing up for his confrontation with the champion on SmackDown alone. And though technically he kept his word as well throughout the confrontation itself, as soon as it was over, out came Solo Sikoa and Jimmy Uso from the crowd, circling the ring like sharks and standing side by side with the Tribal Chief to stare down Rhodes. But the American Nightmare was not to be outsmarted, as main event Jey Uso and the WWE World Heavyweight Champion Seth freaking Rollins emerged to even the odds and neutralize any potential threat. Reigns, wearing a family above all hoodie and sidled by the wise man Paul Heyman, about whom Rhodes cited Rhodes' own description of him from Raw as being no physical threat, called Rhodes a fool and said, "You're stupid to me. From my perspective, you're not fit for this job. You're not fit to be on top. You're not fit to be the face of the company because you're an idiot." Reigns then wondered aloud as to whether or not Rhodes should trust Rollins, given the latter's promise to be his Shield, and tying that to their time in the Shield together, to which Rhodes showed off his bullet cufflinks and noted he's familiar with factions and betrayals and such, a not so subtle nod to his time in the Bullet Club. Rhodes would flip things around, reminding Reigns that the first team to beat the Shield had the last name of Rhodes when he and his brother Dustin as Goldust were victorious at Battleground 2013. Of course, the first time the Shield actually lost in a trios match was against the team of Randy Orton, Kane and Daniel Bryan, but as a tag team, Rhodes does have a point here. He then pointed out that it's no sure thing for Reigns to be able to trust The Rock, and ultimately said good luck and offered a handshake to the champion, one which the champion declined. Instead, he shook Heyman's hand, left the ring and snapped his fingers, and out came his bloodline allies. What did you make of that segment? Let me know your thoughts on what you saw last night on SmackDown. Now, Roman Reigns was very busy yesterday. He was a guest on the Pat McAfee show and didn't shy away from firing some shots to the recently injured CM Punk. Undisputed WWE Universal Champion Roman Reigns has fired a shot at former WWE and AEW World Champion CM Punk. Roman Reigns is not only the reigning undisputed WWE Universal Champion, but he's also the undisputed face of the company and has been for really the past decade. He has been an unprecedented champion for over 1,300 days by winning both the Universal Championship and the WWE Championship. Appearing on the Pat McAfee show, Roman Reigns commented on being at the top of WWE's mountain for as long as he has, taking a shot at CM Punk in the process. Roman said, quote, "I'm living my dream. This is what I wanted my whole life. I'm not one of them people that is, once I got there, it wasn't what I expected. I'm not like CM Punk, where I got to the top of the mountain. Oh, it's not what I expect. I'm going to bitch about it. No, once you reach goals, enjoy the dream. This is what you have been working for. That's exactly what I'm doing. For me, I don't want this to ever end. I don't want this dream to end. I don't want to wake up, so I do everything I have to do to maintain this position. It's a lot of work. I'm very private about my time and family time. You don't get that backstage look at everything I'm doing. Know that I'm constantly working. I'm obsessed with continuing to progress. I know there is another level and there is more that I can do. I don't like to get satisfied or comfortable with the current level that I'm on." So Roman Reigns saying there's plenty of work to do and also taking a shot at CM Punk in the process. Now, a big announcement last night on SmackDown, and that is that Jade Cargill has officially signed with the Blue Brand. Now, ever since making headlines with her strong debut at the Royal Rumble in the Women's Royal Rumble match, all anybody wanted to know is which show Jade Cargill will call her home. Those who have been eagerly awaiting the news can now rejoice, as on Friday's edition of SmackDown, Cargill herself announced she will be appearing exclusively on Friday nights. Cargill made her announcement via a video package where she referred to herself as a once-in-a-lifetime generational talent and the headline, among other things. Cargill ended the package by confirming she'll be taking her talents to SmackDown. She is currently expected, and it has been announced she'll be making her first in-person appearance as an official member of the SmackDown roster on next week's episode of the Blue Brand on Fox. Now, despite having officially signed with WWE in September of last year, Cargill has only been involved in the most recent Women's Royal Rumble match, where she enjoyed several high-profile moments, including lifting Nia Jax, having a standoff with Bianca Belair, and eliminating a returning Naomi. Many fans expected Cargill to be involved in the Women's Elimination Chamber match in Perth, Australia last month, but she was pulled from the lineup in favour of a returning Raquel Rodriguez. Cargill was last seen on WWE programming on the March 1st episode of SmackDown, where she had a stare down with the Women's Champion Io Sky. Cargill's current WrestleMania plans are unknown, but could come into focus on next Friday's edition of SmackDown. Now let's talk about TNA Wrestling. Let's talk about the Motor City Machine Guns. This is a big story here because the contracts of former TNA World Champions and company originals Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin are up in early April. PW Insider first reported the news on Friday, adding that some within TNA expect the duo known as the Motor City Machine Guns to exit the company, while others are hoping that the company can keep both stars. The two are currently part of the Time Machine faction with Kushida and have been teasing a potential heel turn for Shelley due to a recent losing skid within the group. Now, TNA is holding 2 nights of television tapings over the weekend in Philadelphia, with Shelley facing Nick Nemeth and both Shelley and Sabin challenging TNA Tag Team Champions The System. Following this weekend, the next TNA event is April 20th's Rebellion pay-per-view. The two don't have matches announced for the show as of yet, which would likely take shape this weekend if they are planned to appear at the pay-per-view. Both men are among the most decorated champions in TNA/Impact Wrestling history. The 40-year-old Shelley held the TNA World title from June of last year through to this past January when he lost it to Moose. He's a 3-time TNA Tag Team Champion with Sabin and also held the TNA X Division Championship once as well. He made his debut of TNA Wrestling all the way back in 2004. The 42-year-old Sabin debuted for the company in 2003 during the NWA TNA days and has held the X Division Championship 10 times, the TNA Tag Team titles 3 times, and held the TNA World title for a short run back in 2013. Now, Shelley has filed for trademarks for both the Motor City Machine Guns name and MCMG, the acronym for the Motor City Machine Guns. Now, Sabin has never appeared in WWE, while Shelley had a match on a 2005 episode of Sunday Night Heat and teamed with Kushida on 3 NXT shows in January of 2020. Now, the two have competed once in AEW, teaming with Jay Lethal against FTR and Wardlow at 2022's All Out event. So, what do you think is the future for the Motor City Machine Guns? Do you think they're going to be leaving TNA Wrestling? Let me know your thoughts about it. And if they do leave TNA, where are they going to land? Is it going to be AEW or could we see them in WWE? Let me know your predictions about that one. Now, Ronda Rousey, she's been very active and very vocal this week about WWE and Vince McMahon, Bruce Pritchard, John Laurinaitis, and more. And she reportedly was far from happy by the time she left the company. Now, by the time she left WWE in August of last year, fans had fallen out with Ronda Rousey, and she'd also fallen out of love with the company as well. While her first run with the sports entertainment giant up to WrestleMania 35 was a big success for her, her second, beginning at the 2022 Royal Rumble, was widely criticised. In a new book titled Our Fight, which goes on sale April 4th, Rousey lifts the lid on her time with WWE and holds nothing back when it comes to her disdain for certain members of management. While sharing quotes from the book and interviews about the project in the Wrestling Observer newsletter, Dave Meltzer said one person close to the situation said Rousey despised Vince McMahon, but still had time for Triple H and Stephanie McMahon. He said, quote, another person close to the situation noted that Rousey felt that WWE was a misogynistic culture and by the time she left despised Vince but remained friendly with Stephanie and had positive things to say about Paul Levesque. It was also noted that while she despised Vince, she to this day loves Dana White. Now, elsewhere in the book, the former UFC star laid into both Bruce Pritchard and John Laurinaitis. In one exchange, Rousey described Bruce Pritchard as having the air of a used car salesman and said no one within WWE knows what his job is. Meanwhile, she said Laurinaitis was nothing more than a 60-year-old former frat boy. Rousey hasn't appeared for WWE since being defeated by longtime friend Shayna Baszler at SummerSlam last year. Now let's go back to SmackDown because we've got more details on the teams that are getting closer to qualifying for the WrestleMania Tag Team title ladder match. The Final Four is set for the WrestleMania qualifying tournament, the Bracket 2 on SmackDown. Austin Theory and Grayson Waller and Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins of the Street Profits won their tournament matches on Friday's SmackDown to advance to the Bracket 2 finals. They will meet on next Friday's edition of SmackDown, with the winners added to the six-pack tag team title ladder match at WrestleMania 40. The Street Profits defeated Akam and Razar, the authors of Pain, on Friday's SmackDown, while Theory and Waller were victorious over Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson of the OC. Tyler Bates and Pete Dunne of New Catch Republic, plus Humberto Carrillo and Angel Garza of Legado del Fantasma, won bracket 1 matches on last week's SmackDown and also meet on next week's edition of SmackDown with a spot of WrestleMania in the ladder match on the line. On this week's Raw, the New Day's Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods, DIY's Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano, plus the Awesome Truth won matches to qualify for the WrestleMania Tag Team title match as well. Undisputed Tag Team Champions Finn Balor and Damian Priest of the Judgment Day will defend their titles at WrestleMania in this six-pack ladder match. Now, it was a busy night for LA Knight when it comes to being arrested on SmackDown. Yes, a new take on the WWE classic scene of the home invasion as police dashcam footage was used to show the scene. LA Knight had heard that AJ Styles recently said he wasn't planning on being at SmackDown ahead of WrestleMania 40 and instead brought the fight to him, with the explanation that WWE's digital team was already at AJ's home to film behind-the-scenes footage of him preparing for WrestleMania. There was a fresh approach to this timeless WWE and pro wrestling trope. LA Knight not only popped up at AJ Styles' home, but the official footage cut out appropriately for the situation, and then footage from local police was included. With police dashcam footage of the stars fighting on the lawn, the blend of mediums continued through Knight being fully detained by police and transported away, with LA Knight heard to be telling the police officers that it wasn't anything against them, but if AJ Styles didn't come to SmackDown, he will be back next week. It seems that Knight's quest to kick things off before WrestleMania is far from over. Now, for anyone curious, it did seem that Styles' wife Wendy did make an appearance in the scene, keeping in tradition of her involvement in her husband's unfortunate mishaps with colleagues. Now, commentary later explained that AJ Styles did not press charges and Knight was eventually released from jail. Finally, we could be getting more of father and son facing off at WrestleMania this year, because 1 year ago, Rey Mysterio defeated his son Dominic at WrestleMania 39. Friday night, Dominic enacted his revenge by helping his father take a loss to longtime rival Santos Escobar. Rey and Escobar opened Friday's episode of SmackDown in a high-flying contest that eventually took both competitors to the outside. After rolling Escobar back into the ring, Rey looked towards the top rope to secure his victory, but a masked figure emerged to foil Rey's plans, tripping the WWE Hall of Famer. After taking off his mask, itself identical to Rey's iconic design, the interloper revealed himself to be none other than his son, Dirty Dominic Mysterio. The distraction allowed for Escobar to hit Rey with a 619. It followed it up with a Phantom Driver to win the bout. Neither the LWO nor Legado del Fantasma were present at ringside. Now, as of this recording, neither Mysterio is confirmed to be on the WrestleMania 40 card, and it is unknown if this segment was setting up a rematch between them for Philadelphia or possibly a multi-man match. We'll have to wait and see. Dominic was last seen suffering a loss to Ricochet on the March 18 episode of Raw, while Rey and Escobar have been feuding for the better part of 2023 before Rey was taken off television to undergo knee surgery for a torn meniscus. Rey returned to SmackDown on the March 1st episode of the show to immediately resume his feud with Escobar. Following these events, it seems that Rey will now once again be seeking retribution against his son as well. But there you go, guys. That's the latest pro wrestling news for you. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe, bottom right hand corner. As always, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and I'll speak to you again very, very soon.
Hey guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.